We are going to see Vishwarupa as requested by Arjuna. Okay. So Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you. We'll start. It's a universal form which we are going to see in this particular chapter. Let us pay obeisance to Sri Radha Govinda. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Nanakashalakaya Chakshumita Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuttapada Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavscha Sri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vittam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakana Vittamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dino Bandho Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusuti Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kalpaturabhyascha Kripa Sindhu Avayeva Cha Patitam Nam Pavanebho Vaishnavo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pascha Desha Tarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So thank you for coming. As Ranudev has put us the recap. So we saw that Krishna is the source of all and is unknowable to everyone because he is the origin and all the others are created by him. Even Lord Brahma or Shiva or the demigods know only to a limited thing because they are being created by him. And then we looked into the 4 Chaturslokis because that is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. First we need to relate to him. How do we relate? By understanding that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the wise people who are convinced of that, they will engage themselves in the devotional service. And we saw the activities, what they do. They all the time glorifying the Lord, and their parasparam. They will preach to others and they will exchange with their devotees, and they all the time thinking, absorbed in the knowledge of things. So, and how does Krishna reciprocate? He will give them the understanding to come back to them, come back to him, from where there's no birth and death. So they go back to him, and the Jnana Deepena, he will give the knowledge, the light in the thing. So Arjuna now is accepting. He says all his illusions are dispelled, and he accepts him as the supreme, and his supreme position. Then he is more eager to know about his vibhutis, his opulences. Opulences are like richness in everything. So then 82 opulences Krishna describes in detail, everything. He spells it out in detail, and then he says, what is the use of knowing that just by a spark of me, he is pervading everywhere. He is the cause of our existence. We exist because Krishna exists, and that's all. Our existence is due to Krishna. So he is pervading everywhere. That's what he has established. And now let us see what Arjuna wants. He requests Krishna to show his universal form, because now he understood his supreme position and he wants him to show. And then the Lord Krishna will describe what his universal form is, and then gives the vision, because without the Jnana vision, you cannot see the universal form. I mean, you don't have to change your mind. It's only the vision has to change. So then then we see his experience and how when he sees it and he gives the experience, gives out his experience, then he says, "Who are you?" Fine, because he's so bewildered by the scene which he sees about the Krishna. Then Krishna replies, "I'm Kalosmi, Locust." Yeah. Then Arjuna prayers, his whole mood has changed into a thing as a devotee. And then Krishna concludes saying that only pure bhakti is needed to see him. Ananya bhakti, pure devotion service. So let us go into the chapter. Arjuna uvacha mad anugraya paramam govyam adhyatma samnitam etyayoktam vachastena mohayam vigatu mama. Mama means me. Arjuna said, I have heard your instruction on confidential spiritual matters, which you have so kindly delivered unto me, and my illusion is now displaced. So now he concludes, he says, now my hearing all these confidential spiritual matters, like I'm the spirit and not the soul, and you are there everywhere, and you're the supreme personality of God and cause of everything. So he says, now my illusion is now dispelled. O lotus-eyed, I have heard from you. And why does he want to know? Okay, well, I've heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity as realized through your innocence. So now again he's telling, you might think, why is he repeating? I mean, you feel like repeating. Yes, whatever he said, no, we like to reiterate. Yeah, he's saying, now I have seen your appearance, disappearance of every living at the manifestation as realized through your inexhaustible glories. O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see here before me your actual position, I yet wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. So if you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form of my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that universal self. So one may wonder, why did he ask? See, he's already told that my illusions have been dispelled and everything. Then why did he want to see that? Why did he want to wish to see? Because clearly Krishna had told in 7th chapter 8 and all that, the whole cosmic manifestation he is creating and he is annihilating it. And it goes as per the time. And once he creates it, he enters into it because there's an inferior energy and superior energy. Unless there's a superior energy, the matter will never act. So he says, I enter into all, I'm the super soul. And in every atom, in every universe, and it's not just our thing, and then how Brahma is created and how other living entities come. Everything is explained, no? So then he wants to see that, how he has manifested. So you might wonder if he is really convinced, then there was no need to ask, no, that, but actually it is for our benefit. Because, and also Krishna would like to do it because he is a friend. Arjuna is his friend and he will do whatever Arjuna asks him. But also, though he explained everything theoretically, philosophically, all the philosophy he gave, but still he has to actually, in reality, he has to prove it. So he is doing it, he is presenting himself so that there won't be any doubts in our minds. Whoever is reading this Bhagavad Gita, who is listening to it, they should have no doubts about it. Otherwise, people will just, there are people who think it's just an imaginary form. Or some will think, oh, it's just that energy and thing. So it cannot be that whatever 200 form we see, it must be just a matter. It's not a, it's just an historical personality. But it is not that. So he had to disprove that. Or there are people who will say by doing tapas, I have become God. Then we need to ask them, no? They say, please show your universal form. Then only that's like a proof. So it is like a criteria is set for any person in future who tries to claim to be an incarnation of God. So they may be claiming to be God. I mean, we say it's not happening. It is happening today. Everywhere we see that. And for us, Google is the God itself, right? Anything we want to know, we just Google it. So, but there was once in this matter, no, Prabhu Mataji was telling us, there was a survey done in UK about, he went around asking, I mean, the question he was asking is, suppose you see the Lord, what will you ask? So, I mean, actually, what is the thing? Then he could analyze it by the replies and the survey done. There are four kind of people. Like there are people who are with asuric bhavana, no mentality. So they're so envious of the Lord. So for them, they're waiting to kill him. Like, it's like Kamsa was like that. And Hiranyakashipu. And like that, there are so things, they can't stand anybody more powerful than them. But there are some people who are suffering with acute diseases like cancer or even corona, which has come and all that. So they will think, no, if I see the Lord, I want to ask him, what was wrong in me that I had to, you have put me into such suffering. But there are people who are materialistic. They say, if I see the Lord, I will ask him for so many things. Like I want a bungalow, so many riches he wants to be the CEO of that. So, but devotee is the person who will only wish to serve the Lord. But in some form or the other, people are always thinking of, are always conscious of the Lord. So, this is the reason. So, now he is asking for our sake. So, this is the reason. Why does Arjuna want to see? We need to contemplate it. In fact, by asking, we are benefited. We are able to see it. And we were able to see his experience and his description. So the blessed Lord said, my dear Arjuna, O son of Pritha, behold now my opulences, hundreds of thousands of very divine forms, multicolored like the sea. So you want to see that, then you see there will be so many things, and he is describing. The Lord says, these will be there. And whatever you wish to see can be seen all at once in this body. This universal form can show you all that you now desire, as well as whatever you may desire in the future. Everything is here complete. So you can see everything like a kaleidoscope. But you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore, I give to you a divine eyes by which you can behold. So he's not telling him to change his mind or anything. His eyes cannot see that. So he says you have to have a spiritual vision. So we saw the reasons and why does Arjuna want to see. And then he needs to have the spiritual vision, which the Lord gives him so that he can see the whole universe, how the whole material manifestation has occurred. And you can see in him everything which is going to happen, whatever he was telling, how the material world, everything rests on him. He keeps telling, like the pearl in the necklace is a thread. So he is given the spiritual vision. And now Sanjaya Vacha. Evam yukta tato rajan mahayogeshwara hari darshanyamsha partaya paramam rupam aishvara. So Sanjaya is sitting in the palace and he is telling the king Dhritarashtra, O king, speaking thus, the supreme, the Lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead displayed his universal form to Arjuna. So from this we see that even Sanjaya could see this universal form because he was already given this vision by Vedyas to see what was happening in the battlefield. So he was not deprived. So whatever Arjuna is seeing, he is able to see here. So that is why now from this we can understand that he also was able to see, and he is describing that. He's so mesmerized by the thing, and he thinks himself, he was so humble. I mean, he felt, such a thing, I never expected it, that Arjuna will ask and he will have the blessing to see that. So he is speaking to the king. Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths and unlimited eyes. It was all wondrous. The form was decorated with divine, dazzling ornaments and arrayed in many garbs. He was garlanded gloriously, and there were many scents smeared over his body. All was magnificent and all expanding and unlimited. This was seen by Arjuna. If hundreds of thousands of suns rose up at once in the sky, they might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. So he could see everything, and it was so bright, but no one in the battlefield could see. It was only between Arjuna and Krishna, and Sanjaya could see it. And now we will see who else had the spiritual vision. At that time, Arjuna could see in universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. See, he's still sitting on the chariot, and even Krishna is there, but the whole thing is shown to him before him in the thing, the whole universe. And everything you can see, and whatever he was telling, that all the, like, Prabhudaksha Vishnu, Mahavishnu's, and how from the navel the Brahma is sitting there, then Lord Shiva, then all the Devatas, and everything, and it's unlimited thing. Then, bewildered and astonished, his eyes standing on it, Arjuna began to pray with folded hands, offering obeisance to the Supreme Lord. So, what happens? This what happens to Arjuna. I mean, even once before in chapter 2, we saw, he got confused and he had a hair standing, but that time was due to compassion. He was feeling very, very bad. I mean, all these people are going to die, and what is this and what we are doing? That was his situation. But here, when he sees this, he is astonished. He is wondrous. He said he could never believe that he will be able to see such the whole thing in the Lord, So now this is a feeling of wondrous, this emotion. I mean, throughout the thing, we see that all feelings have been expressed. I mean, it's nothing like monotonous, the dialogue between the Lord and the Arjuna. It's like, they all showing, I mean, Krishna is smiling and is very calmly telling everything, and he can understand Arjuna's feelings. And Arjuna is expressing, he said, I can't do this, I can't do. Then after that, when he accepts, he becomes so humble and he says, please tell me more. And now he's so wonderful it is, he couldn't believe that, that you could actually see it. Okay, so that is now he start praying. And is praying to the Lord. He is overwhelmed by wonder. Arjuna said, so till we saw what the Sanjay was explaining it to Dhritarashtra, and Dhritarashtra is of course bewildered. And in fact, he was shown once before when Lord Krishna had gone to Hastinapur to ask for the peace, so that they at least give 5 villages to the Pandavas, and then Duryodhana wouldn't agree. At that time, he would have shown a partly of his Divya Drishti. But even then, the Dhritarashtra won't change his mind. He is so attached to his son, and he doesn't want to give anything to his nephews. So now Arjuna said, even now when Sanjaya is describing it, Dhritarashtra is bewildered and is only worried what is going to be the outcome and nothing else. He's not repenting or anything. Arjuna said, my dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled together in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva and many sages and divine serpents. So he's saying all that. He has told Vasuki and Anand Sesha, all that he says, I can see the sages are there. Lord Shiva is there, Lord Brahma is there, sitting on the navel. And whatever he talked about the Mahatattva, the whole universe, the planets, O Lord of the universe, I see in your universal body many, many forms, bellies, mouth, eyes, expanded without limit. There's no end, there's no beginning, and there's no middle to all this. So it was just like, the whole sky, like everything was spread out there. Your form adorned with various crowns, claps, and discs is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence, which is fiery and immeasurable like the sun. Actually, we cannot see sun directly, but here they say more than thousands of sun is lit up. So that would be the effulgence. And you are the supreme primal objective. You are the best in all the universes. You are inexhaustible. You are the oldest. You are the maintainer of religion, the eternal personality of Godhead. Your origin without beginning, middle or end. You have numberless arms, and the sun and moon are among your great unlimited eyes. By your own radiance, you're heating this entire universe. So he could feel that. He saw the light, he could feel the heat also. Although you're one, you are spread throughout the sky and the planets and all the space between. Oh, great one, as I behold this terrible form, I see that all the planetary systems are perplexed. See, when he's telling this, it could be understood that other demigods from other planetary systems, they were all also able to see this universal form. Brahma, Shiva, everyone, Devatas, and all from other planets are all could see. And they were also astonished because they have never seen it before. So they were perplexed. They suddenly, when such a thing was shown, they were also perplexed because they also had, who were at the spiritually awake, they were vision, they could see this form. All demigods are surrendering and entering into you. They are very much afraid, and with folded hands, they are singing the Vedic. So you can immediately see the demigods, Devatas, immediately when they think, they start paying the obeisance and they're singing the Vedic. And he could hear that and he could see this. So it was not like a dream. It was not a dream to Arjuna that he is alone seeing it and all that. We could see others also seeing, and others people's expression also he could see and hear their Vedic hymns. So he was in great ecstasy, and this vision was not a dream, and we can understand that. O mighty armed one, all the planets with the demigods are disturbed at seeing your many faces, eyes, arms, bellies, and legs, and your terrible teeth, and so they are disturbed as I am. So he says he is disturbed. I mean, it would be, because you are all the time used to seeing to the human being and all that, and okay, the animals and thing, and then world nature, and suddenly you are shown this. So that it would disturb. And he says they are disturbed, and I am also disturbed. Of all pervading Vishnu, I can no longer maintain my equilibrium. Seeing your radiant colors fill the skies and beholding your eyes and mouths, I am afraid. So this show is telling that he is scared. He is afraid of the universal form. It was so. And why he is also fearful? Because he's seeing the future. He's seeing all the sons of Dhritarashtra along with their allied kings and Bhishma, Drona, Karna, all our soldiers are rushing into your mouths. Their heads are smashed by your fearful teeth. I see that some are being crushed between your teeth as well. So he's seeing the future now, because the Lord said, no, you will be seeing everything, future and all that. As the rivers flow into the sea, so all these great warriors enter in your blazing mouths and perish. So when he sees that, he gets bewildered. He wonders what is happening. Why is all, and knowing is one, but to see in actual vision, people going into the mouth, he gets it. So he's asking, who are you? So then the Lord says, Kalos me. All they said that time, I am Kala. I am the destroyer of the worlds. And I've come to engage all the people, with the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain. So the Lord clearly says he is the Kalasmi. And he has got them all gathered here. It clearly shows that it was his will that everybody, because there were a lot of irreligious activity was going on, and many of the kings and things, they were all puffed up with their wealth and their opulence, and they were taking into such religious acts and all that. So he had to put an end to it. So it was his direction, which all of them had been gathered. So he is telling, I am the destroyer of the worlds. I've come to engage all the people. exception you, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain. So he brought their deaths to at one place. Tasmat. Tasmat means therefore. Tasmat tvam uttishta yasho lavashva jitva satram bhunksya rajyam sambram nayale nihatta purvameva nimitta matram bhava savyashyasi. So, therefore, get up and prepare to fight. After conquering your enemies, you will enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement. And you, O Sebastian, can be but an instrument in the fight. So, nimitta matram bhava savyashyasi. So, we are just an instrument in his hands. So, we should just understand that everything which is happening around us is just by his will, and it is his order. Nothing, no blade of grass can move without his will. Okay. And we are just an instrument in this thing. So we need to just surrender to the Lord and just accept whatever is happening in our life. Because and it is, what was the thing? It has to be, and he knows what is best for us. And why it is happening, it's all because of our karmas, all he was telling. And we need to just surrender, understand him, try to engage ourselves in this devotional service. So that way we will be just an instrument in the fight. So we need to shelter. So here he's clearly telling Arjuna, nimitta matra, the bhava samashri. So we are just an instrument in his hand. The blessed Lord said, all the great warriors, Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna are already destroyed. Simply fight and you will vanquish your enemies. So this is all being told by Sanjay also to Dhritarashtra, and he's listening to everything. So nature is moving with a specific plan of the Lord. And we need to understand this Krishna consciousness. How do we understand? Is only through the medium of a spiritual master. Only through their help we can understand. Otherwise, we'll be just reading like the slokas. No, we'll just read the slokas, yes and no. We won't be able to take the, imbibe the principles in our life. So Sanjay said to Dhritarashtra, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna trembled, fearfully offered obeisances with folded hands and began faltering to speak as follows. So you can see the changes in Arjuna now. So first he was just a friend, then he became a student, a Shishya, telling him, please tell me what is beneficial to me. And he was asking all the questions. And once everything doubts were cleared, then he asked him to show, because now his understanding is a Supreme Lord. And he wanted to see the universal form, how he is entering into the all this cosmic manifestation. When he sees that, he saw how he was struck with wonder. And now, totally, he's praying, because when he heard that he is the Kalos me and that we are just an instrument in his hands, then he's totally mood changed and he starts offering obeisances. And this has been observed by Sanjay, and he's telling to Dhritarashtra. O Rishikesha, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfect beings offer you your respectful homage, the demons are afraid and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. So he can understand how the devatas are offering their prayers, whereas demons are scared and they are running. They don't want to see anyone more powerful than them. Oh, great one, who stands above even Brahma, you are the original master. Why should they not offer their homage to you? O limitless one, O refuge of the universe, you are the invisible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this manifestation. So he is the cause of all causes. He is the origin. You are the original personality, the Godhead. You are the only sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. You know everything, and you're all that is known. Only thing we need to know is about the Lord and nothing else. And you're above the material modes. All limitless form. This whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. So whatever he said, he is able to see that. Now here he is offering his prayers. And one more thing now, he says, I have in the past addressed you as O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, without knowing your glories. Please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. So he is really now taken aback. Now he thinks, my God, and he's he's a supreme being, and I've been treating him like a friend and a cousin, and I may have dishonored you many times while relaxing or while lying on the same bed or eating together, sometimes alone, sometimes in front of many friends. Please excuse me for all my offenses. So now he gets humbled down and he's offering his prayers, asking for things. After seeing this universal form, which I've never seen before, I'm gladdened, but at the same time, my mind is disturbed with fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again your form as the personality of Lord. So he wants his friend back. He doesn't want to be with this universal form. He says, please give back, please come back and show me your 200. In fact, he wants to see the Narayana form. Oh, universal Lord, I wish to see you in your 400 form with helmeted head and with club, wheel, conch, and lotus flower in your hands. I long to see you in that form. Oh, best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine, the Lord says. For neither by studying Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charities or similar activities can this form be seen. Only you have seen this. So here the Lord states clearly that nobody has seen it. And we cannot, just studying the Vedic literature, we can understand this, nor we can see this form, nor by sacrifices. So many of the sages earlier, in any of the Satya Treta, nobody has seen that. And only here, and because of Arjuna, all the other devatas, brahmas, things, or everyone, even Sanjaya could see this, have this benediction. Your mind has been perturbed upon seeing this horrible feature of mine. Now let it be finished. My devotee, be free from all disturbance. With a peaceful mind, you can now see the form you desire. So you see the Narayana form with 4 hands, with conch shell, lotus flower, and the club and the disc, the Sudarshan. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra. So the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, while speaking thus to Arjuna, displayed his real 400 form, and at last he showed him his 200 form, thus encouraging the fearful Arjuna. So simultaneously he showed everything and he came back to his original form. So this pacified Arjuna. Okay, now he is really, actually he wants to prove, and also he wants to encourage Arjuna to fight, isn't it? Finally, so that he should think. And its form is very beautiful. Samya Bapu. That's what it says in the purport by Prabhupada says. So when Arjuna thus saw Krishna in his original form, he said, seeing this human-like form so very beautiful, my mind is now pacified. I am restored to my original nature. My dear Arjuna, the form you are now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form, which is so dear. So it was a benediction to them also. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen. Only in this way you can enter into my mysteries. The conclusion is that it's very difficult to see the universal form of Krishna, and it is not possible for anyone and everyone. It's still more difficult. Not only the universal form is difficult, even his personal form, as Shamsundar, is also difficult to see, because only by devotional service we can see. So only if you understand this, and then the persons who worship, and by that, so he says, so for us to worship him, we need to start, and the beginning can be done only by first start off with the temple worship. That is also been said in the purport. Bhaktyarita anyanya sakhya aham evam vido achana jnatam drashtam cha tatvena pravashtata. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. Okay. So by His grace and thing, not by just reading the script. And for us, the beginners, we have to start with the temple worship, because then we can have some form in front of us to begin our worship and to begin our spiritual journey. Otherwise, it's very difficult to think that I can have this universal form in my mind and think that I can meditate upon it and then able to reach the Lord. It's not that easy. It's better to have the form which we have in the Sachitananda Vigraha in the temple and start with that. In fact, Prabhuji says that when we go to temple, it's not we want to see the Lord. Actually, the Lord has to, then Lord will see us. For that reason, we need to go, because the Lord is there. Lord is in everything, and Lord is also in the temple. So the Lord has to see us. Then only He can anugrah will get. So it's not just seeing how He's decorated and all things. We have to pay obeisance and clearly feel His presence when you enter into the temple. Okay. Temple worship is essential for the beginners to relate to Him, to start linking with Him. Then Krishna says, Mad karma prat paramo, mad bhakta sangha varjita, nirvari sarva bhuteshu esomam et pandava. My dear Arjuna, one who is engaged in pure devotional service, free from contamination of previous activities, from mental speculation, who is friendly to every living entity, certainly comes to me. So we need to have Ananya Bhakti, engaged in doing his work. Doing work, Prabhupada writes in the purport, no? Either you can, even if you're having a business or anything, you can think that the profit, you don't think that profit is my work, is my doing. If you just realize all this by the Krishna's mercy, even the profit I get is due to Krishna's mercy, and you think that you are doing all this for the Lord. So in every activity you need, even if you are just have a land and you're growing some flowers for the Lord, for this, all your activities, if you just focus saying that it is for the Lord, that should come. Otherwise, and that's what he says, you need to engage ourselves in pure devotional service. And then we'll be free from our contaminations of our previous karma. Then all this mental speculation, no, we should be free from that. Otherwise, we should not think, oh, I like to see only the universal form. No, that is difficult. And then such people are very friendly to every living entity. So they will come to me. So this is what we need to do. Krishna Karma, formula from Supreme Personality of Godhead. He keeps telling us that, but we keep listening and then we forget and we go back to our own identity. So we should do everything which is favorable for Krishna and just avoid association which will not be beneficial to us. And in this thing, I would like to just mention about Dhruv Maharaj. When he went to the Lord, as I said once, I learned that his motive was impure. That is, he wanted a kingdom much bigger than what his forefathers had. But the Lord did not consider the motive, but he considered the service. He considered with how dedication he did the Ashtanga Yoga, he did this yogic practice, the devotional practice, which the spiritual master Narada Muni had told him. So it was such dedication he did that the Lord gave him. So today we might think, I have done so many things. Am I eligible for this? Am I eligible to enter into this devotional system? It is possible. We can take up, start our journey at any point, anything. So he doesn't look at our past. We will only look at how serious we are and how we are persevering in this path. Okay. Then and Lord Dhruva saw the Lord and all his contamination was clear. So it only says highly qualified devotee can have the facility of material enjoyment. At the same time, he can execute the love of God. This is special case of Dhruva, but we can understand from that. So it doesn't say that we should give up our desires, but our desires should be purified. That is, we have to turn towards the Lord. That is, our purify our false understanding that I am the Hindu, I am the something. We have to realize our position. That is, we are the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. And we need to, our position is to serve the Lord. Okay. So this is finally, this is what we saw about the why Arjuna asked. We can understand. And Krishna describes his universal form, and from the description of Arjuna and his experience, we can understand how described how it was wonderful as well as fearful. Okay, it was so, and he could see the past as well as the future. There was no end or beginning. It was so much effulgence. And then he heard Krishna saying, "He's a Kalosmi." And we have to be just an instrument in his hand, okay? And only pure bhakti is required to see him. Otherwise, we cannot see this. So identify God. I mean, actually, if when somebody prays, I mean, no, sometimes there was Mataji was explaining to us in one a story she was relating to say that if you see the Lord, can we identify him? Like, once a story was like, there was a big flood was going on, and all people were trying to take a boat or come out of their house because it was getting flooded, and the houses and our buildings were all getting filled up with water. So everyone tried to come out of it and take refuge. But one person was not willing to come out. They were trying to ask him to come. He says, "No, I'm waiting for the Lord to save me." And then the water keeps coming, rising. So he goes from one floor to top floor. Then again, someone will say, I brought the boat, please come and step onto the boat. But he refuses. Then he goes to the topmost to the roof. And then he's still waiting for the Lord to come and save him. And then there comes an helicopter and they will put a ladder and say, please take this ladder and come. But then also he refuses. He says, I want Lord only to save. And finally, of course, he drowns. And then when he goes to see the Lord, then he's asking the Lord, why didn't you come and see? I've been praying and praying for you to save me. Why you did? Then the Lord says, why? I sent you so many times I came, but you never took. I mean, I sent someone to take you out, but you refused. Then I sent a boat, but you refused to accept on the boat. Then I sent you the helicopter, but still you didn't come. So we are not able to identify it. We have our own notion of what the Lord would be like, and we expect the Lord to come like that. So he will come in many forms to help us to, hear our prayers, but it's only what we have to look towards him. So we saw the request, and we saw the universal form and the prayers and the two member form. So the Lord Krishna is the form, and whatever that universal form is only temporary, because it is the material form, material world, is the cosmic manifestation. So when the cosmic manifestation is formed, then he takes up that. Otherwise, once it's not like the spiritual world, there's a Vaikuntha or a thing, Narayana form and all, they're all eternal. But universal form is only a temporary one. So Shyam Sundar form is his personal form, only Bhakti and Krishna Karma. So it was a nice thing to talk about the Lord's vision, Vishwarupa. So Vancha Kalpatrabhyascha Kripa Sindhavevacha Patitam Nam Pavanebho Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare,